realize y'all are going to go into executive session for that, and I would assume it is for the reason of what's depicted here about a 4-year tour of duty where other facilities were provided. I will say this, I am a big believer in second chances, but I will say this. I have concerns over this board's inability to monitor someone who doesn't even have that type of situation. Specifically when you get told, oh, I can make $1 million overnight, and no one even bothers with asking how. And
if I don't get back on the stand and get some sellers in there, I'll be completely out of business in the next 2 weeks. Dion didn't mention it, I will. I've had an opportunity to come along in the last month, just out of the blue. They could probably make me an instant millionaire overnight, but it can't happen unless I'm on the auction stand.
The reality is that $1 million was going to be made because he had a 5-minute clip on Duck Dynasty. That's why he was so aggressive for the license. You know, the board has an obligation to delve into those sorts of things, because my phone rings and then I got a lady furious that she's been taken for $25,000 based on this board having basically legitimized him in that respect. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how y'all handle that situation. It's certainly not going to be the only person that has that particular problem, as Wiley Collins has made note of. You go down the list of auctioneers that we have itemized, and there are quite a few that are going to fit that category. The particular gentleman that's here today. So,
Mr. Burns mentioned something about apprenticeship. I don't know the apprentices, but I do ask that this board take in consideration and under consideration how they go about monitoring the apprentice program. We want everybody to have a fair opportunity, a second chance, and we're not going to voice any sentiments against those requests, but we do ask that you put some teeth into those areas where teeth need to be, so that these things could go smoothly with the auctioneers. We haven't had many problems from the apprentices as much as we have from the auctioneers who've been around for a while.
Next is going to be Mr. Edward Heaston, Supervisor Nick Hardy.
Yes, and on this one, there was a request by Mr. Heaston to hold this interview pursuant to statute 3113E in executive session pursuant to LARS 4217A1. So we will need a
motion. Yeah, any public comment on that?
on going into executive session? On going into executive session, or taking the final vote to approve?
We're taking Mr. Heaston and Hardy.
executive session.
This is a vote to go into executive session. No, I don't voice anything to that. But I assume at some point you're going to have to vote to either approve or not approve.
That's correct. Motion to go into executive session. Any discussion?
I will roll call that. Mr. Brisker?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Ms. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. Lockett?
Yes.
Mr. Sims?
Yes.
Mr. Warren?
Yes.
All right, we are in executive session.
Motion passed. Discussion about this item? Any discussion from the general public about this item?
Well, if I do, I'd prefer to defer that until after the board's had its discussion.
I believe we're done with our discussion.
Y'all aren't going to discuss anything out in public?
Bringing a license to review.
All right, then I'll comment. If you're not going to conduct any kind of discussion whatsoever in public, I think that goes to the core issue of why I make the public records request that I do. And Mr. Banks and I can assure you they are going to continue. And fortunately, I'm very happy with the Attorney General that we have now. I will also point out that this massive pile that you showed, if anybody wants to examine that, when we're talking about emails, they printed out every spam email, and that was over half of the volume there. In fact, there are entire pages of just gobbledygook, you know, but it makes for good showmanship.
Mr. Burns, this is not related to that question. You want to address the specific?
I would state that it is, because it goes to the generic nature of whether or not you're going to have public discussions, Mr. Bankston. And so I'm going to state that. I think it is inappropriate to just come out here and vote. Everything was done in secret, but not to worry. I have all of the details of all of the things to put out there. But, you know, as Mr. Phillips said, Reverend Phillips said, we're going to have transparency and we're going to keep it up there. I know you don't like that. A few of the emails and texts, I can see why you wouldn't like the public records request made. But make no mistake, as he said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm done.
I'm done.
I move to grant Mr. Heaston a license.
And I second.
Motion second. All those in favor? Any opposition? Motion passed. All right, next on the,
There's an envelope for each of them. Congratulations, call me anytime. All right, you guys drive safe going back.